Hi there, welcome. Sorry, I took a bit of time because I couldn't get the my Facebook to work. So welcome to our Monday night mindfulness Zen class. My name is 𝐀𝐁𝐂'𝐬. I'm the abbot and guiding teacher here at Zen Space Penang in Malaysia. So over the course of these next couple of weeks or so, what I'd like to do is to start introducing you to meditation in a relatively simple way, and I've called it Alphabet Zen. So we're just going to start with the alphabet and do that, and it will be part practice and part talk, and it will only take half an hour, so we'll see how long it takes, but it's not going to cover the whole alphabet obviously, and probably not even half of it. So, but we'll use it as a way, as a mnemonic, a way of easily remembering the main points of what we should do during, if we want to meditate. Okay, but to start off with, I'd just like to ask you just to consider this. What would you say if I said to you, there's a pill that you can buy, for a certain amount of money, and if you take this pill, it can reduce your stress and anxiety, it'll improve your creativity, you can better focus and pay attention, you have a better sense of well-being, your relationships with your partner and your children can improve, your memory and your cognition can get better, you also have a higher levels of compassion and the willingness to act compassionately. You have enhanced immune system, all good for now these days, and also you have greater tolerance to pain, and also if you take this pill, it might lead you to have an enlightenment experience. So would you buy this pill? And how much for? How much would you be willing to pay for it? Well, here this pill is free, and it's called meditation. And all those benefits I described to you have been scientifically proven through research and through and have been published in peer-reviewed journals. So what we're doing is not some hippy-dippy woo-woo stuff. It's actually evidence-based science, the science of the mind. So I've said sometimes before that the Buddha was the greatest mind scientist of his time, and he discovered all these things about practice and through his own efforts. And we didn't have the science to talk about it before for many years, but thanks to, and I'm very grateful for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he really pushed his students who were scientists, like Professor Richard Davidson of University of Michigan, Madison in the States, who was I think neuroscientist, I'm not sure exactly, but he started a lot of intensive research into meditation and how it affects the mind, the brain, the body. So now we have this whole trove of evidence, scientific evidence, medical evidence, psychological evidence that tells us that meditation is this pill that you can take every day that will lead to all these benefits that I talked to you about. So very important to realize it's not some hippy-dippy shit. It's actually very concrete, evidence-based science that we're doing here. It's not kind of like something that, you know, do you have to have faith in and hope it works. It does work. Okay, and if you practice it, then on the like Buddhism side, you know, one day you get enlightenment. But along the way, you get all these other benefits to yourself: greater sense of well-being, better resilience to stress, all this stuff. You can look. If you want, just ask me, and I'll send you some links to these articles where this information is from, or just Google it yourself. So what I'd like to do tonight is start with a very simple meditation, just awareness of breath. And what I'd like you to do is take one hand, left or right, doesn't matter, and just put it just below your navel. Okay. Then adopt a comfortable upright position, allowing your shoulders to relax. Let your neck relax. Lower your gaze to the floor, looking at it with a soft focus, or if you prefer, just close your eyes. And let your face soften. Your jaw, release the tension from your jaw, your upper neck. If you're sitting in a chair, let your feet come down to the floor. Now, with your hand that's on your belly, that area of the belly is called our lower belly or our abdomen. Just apply a very gentle pressure. Okay. Now as you breathe in, see if you can allow your breath to travel all the way down to your lower belly, so they can feel the movement with your hand. So when you breathe in, it will expand. And then when you breathe out, it will contract, it will fall. Just this movement. You don't have to try hard. Just practice allowing your breath to travel all the way down. We're not using our chest at all. Not using our chest is not moving in this breathing. So start to just pay attention to the movement of your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. Just notice the rising and falling. So that's all we're doing. And pretty soon, your mind will get pulled away by any kind of thought or image that may appear in your head. So when that happens, it's perfectly natural. It's not a mistake. And it's not that you're not able to meditate. This is just how our minds work most of the time. So when you notice that you've got lost in your thoughts or have become caught up in some image in your mind, see if you can just let go of it at that moment, and then start to notice your breath again. Start to notice the movement of your lower belly. And just relax into it. Don't have to make anything tight. You don't have to have any idea of how it should be. You're just feeling what you're feeling. When you're breathing in, you're aware you're breathing in, because your lower belly will start to rise. And when you breathe out, you're aware you're breathing out, because your lower belly will start to fall. So just go at your own pace. Your body knows how to breathe. There's no need for us to control it. Just keep coming back to the feeling in your lower belly, rising and falling. Just keep noticing how it is. Just a rising and falling of your lower belly in rhythm with your breath. Nothing else to do. Just allow yourself to just be here. Doesn't matter what comes up in your head, in your mind, whatever images, whatever thoughts. Doesn't matter how long you've been caught up, engrossed in these thoughts and images. When you realize it, that's the moment that you become aware and awake. And just start to notice your breath again, the movement of your lower belly, your in-breath and your out-breath. Now taking your own time, and when you're ready, start to open your eyes. Let go of your hand on your belly and taking your surroundings again. Moving your body, your arms and legs if you need to. Thank you for your practice. So tonight is the start of our alphabet Zen, the ABCs of meditation. So I like to give you a very general definition of meditation that you can apply in any situation that you're in. It's not, meditation isn't done only when you're sitting. It can be done, as a eminent teacher said, when you're sitting, walking, standing, lying down. So those four, we call it the four positions, and that's basically covers everything. Which means that you can choose to meditate at any time, at any place, at all. So the definition of meditation that I like to use is paying attention with intention, without judgment, in the present moment, with a spirit of openness, acceptance, and curiosity. So I'll just say that again. Paying attention with intention, without judgment, in the present moment, with a spirit of openness, acceptance, and curiosity. So I think that's general enough for you to be able to apply anywhere. You know, you could be typing away at a keyboard on a computer. If you just start to pay attention to what you're doing, that's computer meditation. If you're watching a movie and you're just fully paying attention and not starting to think about, oh, what's the phone, or what that shot means, or what the director is doing, you're doing movie meditation. If you're talking to your friends and you're just talking to them, that's talking meditation. So meditation is very broad. It's not just restricted to sitting here and not moving. Okay, it's how you. Zen Master Sung San said, how do you keep your mind moment to moment? So how are you keeping your mind moment to moment? So he used to say, if you're aware of your mind moment to moment, even going to the toilet is not a waste of time. I used to like that because he was very, very, I'd say, very energetic and very dynamic with his teaching. So, yeah, so the first of our alphabet letters is A. And A, or AA, is attention and awareness, which is what we were doing just now in our very simple awareness of the breath meditation. Just paying attention to our breath. So we are not actually, as human beings, our mind is not trained to pay attention. You know, the research shows that our minds wander almost 50% of the time. So like, let's say we're talking here for about half an hour, you know, maybe 15 minutes of that, you're thinking of something else. You know, you're not here. It's just that our mind just starts to wander. And that's not that it's a mistake or anything, that's just how we're built. There's benefits, and of course there's also drawbacks. So if we want to pay more attention, then of course we have to train ourselves to pay more attention, to learn how to do it. And it is a skill that we can all develop. You know, it's like we weren't born to pay attention. I wasn't born to meditate. But we train, and we can. And hopefully throughout this mini course, I can show you that it's not difficult, it's not esoteric, it's not a mysterious thing. It's actually very simple, very concrete, and very science-based. So, paying attention, and one of the things that we use to help us pay attention is our breath. And I'll talk a bit about it tomorrow. But when we learn to pay attention, what happens is that when you become more present, your awareness starts to grow. You're more aware of stuff, not having to specifically focus. I remember many years ago, I was helping to teach meditation, and I was doing this head monk or head dharma teacher's role where I walk around when people are meditating just to straighten their posture and all that. And there was this one person, and that person was like, when they were sitting there, the brow was really furrowed, and like they're really trying to concentrate hard, like. So I thought, wow, that's kind of too much. So after the whole thing was over, I just mentioned to them, you don't have to do that. Meditation is not about trying to focus and really put a lot of effort in. It's a relaxed awareness. And unfortunately, they didn't listen, as usually is the case. And he said, that's the only way I know how to meditate. So it's not so much about that. It's like letting your attention rest lightly on your breath and being aware of it, of course. Then gradually your awareness will start to grow. Awareness things like here right now, when I was meditating just now, I was paying attention to my breath. I could also hear the sound of the aircon and sometimes the sound of things outside. So when the scientists did their research on Tibetan monks who had been practicing for more than 10,000 hours, they put them in scanners and functional MRIs and all this kind of stuff. They found that what happened was that their meta-awareness, that means their awareness of everything around them, actually dramatically increased. They had a higher level of meta-awareness than normal people. That was like statistically significant. And this meta-awareness stayed even though they were meditating. Okay, that means in normal conversation, in everyday life, your awareness is bigger. So they call it an altered trait. And read it. Richard Davidson, Professor Richard Davidson, University of Wisconsin, Madison, he wrote a book about that with a colleague. So it's called altered traits, which means that actually when we practice, the things that happen actually stay. They don't just disappear the moment we stop. And that also is shown by all research that shows our brain actually changes in response to meditation practice. It's called neuroplasticity. In fact, it changes to whatever things you do. Like if you learn to juggle, then that part of the brain that's responsible for hand-eye coordination gets bigger, or there's more gray matter. So it's not like just only for meditation, but it shows that meditation also can change your brain, literally. So A stands for attention and awareness. When you start to train yourself to pay attention in this moment and not judging whatever comes up, your awareness will start to grow. And then you become more aware of stuff that's going around you. That's called meta-awareness. So that's our first letter of the alphabet for tonight. Sort of a story. This is from Zen Master Debong. He told this story about his father. And his father ran some kind of, I can't remember exactly, so I don't want to say, but some kind of business. And then something went wrong with the fuse box or something in the business. So then, not an electrician, but he kind of looked at it and then he fixed it. So then Zen Master Debong, that time he was not a monk at that time, he said, "Oh, Dad, how did you know how to fix that, you know?" And the dad just looked at it and said, "I just looked." You know, when the electrician came before to set up the electricity in the shop, he was there just looking at the electrician, what he was doing. So he was paying attention. So when you pay attention, you notice stuff. Then you know how to do it. But if you're not paying attention, if your mind is occupied by thousands of thoughts, even when you look at something, you're not actually looking at it. Your mind is not there. So that's the first thing that we are doing, is training our mind to pay attention in the moment. So then you see something, you're actually seeing it. You're not just like, I'm sure many of you have had this experience with you send WhatsApp messages or Facebook messages to your friends, and they don't really read it. They just look at the first thing and then that's it. I've had that experience many times. Oh, blah, 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 we'll meet at 8 o'clock at so-and-so restaurant. And when the day comes, they'll say, "Where are we meeting at what time?" So that kind of thing, that means you're just not paying attention. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to train ourselves to pay attention. And so not to get caught up so much in our kind of random thoughts. So that's coming to a close for tonight. I'd just like to recommend, since I think most of us are in this kind of shelter at home, lockdown, MCO, circuit breaker, whatever you want to call it, it means you can't go out or shouldn't go out. And you should have a bit more time on your hands, the time you spent commuting to work and back, or the time you spent traveling. That's time do you have now if you're working from home. So I'd like to recommend you 2 courses that you can take. And one of them, the first one is run by Yale University. It's online. It's a free course, and you can find it on Coursera. I'll put the links underneath this video tonight. And it's called The Science of Well-Being by Professor Laurie Santos. It's the most popular course in the history of Yale University. And that's saying something. And I just looked online, how many people have signed up for the course. It's about 1.5 million people online. So it is about the science of well-being. It takes you through whatever habits you have that will help you become happier, and what the things you do actually that don't make you happier. And you might be very surprised at what it is. And one of the things is that money, or having more money, doesn't make you happier. But I would really encourage you to take this course. It's free, it's easy, it doesn't involve taking any exams. You just have to watch it and then just answer just a few multiple choice questions. It's really, really simple. So that's Science of Wellbeing, Professor Laurie Santos, Yale University. And of course, a component of that Science of Wellbeing is meditation. So I'm not going to go into what she teaches, but I will cover what you can do in meditation that supports your happiness. And the other one is the Science of Happiness, University of Berkeley. And that can be found on edX or EDX, not sure which. And that's by Professor Dr. Keltner. And he also has this online course. It's a free as well, and you can take that. I think that's more oriented towards practice or meditation and mindfulness, but I think both are equally useful. And if you have time, do both. I'm doing the second one right now. There are many strategies in which you can improve your level of happiness. So I would really suggest that, because at least, you know, when you practice, you can get the hopefully start to get the benefits of practice. So, okay, that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you find it useful. If you find it useful and helpful, give us a like, and also share us to your friends who may find it helpful at this time. I think many people, perhaps even if they may not be aware of it, could do with some mindfulness and meditation and get all these benefits that I talked about earlier. So yeah, please do like and share us, and thank you for your practice tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you Wednesday. Thank you.